And welcome everyone to a new episode of Is This Real True Crime. I'm JC3 and we have the Beans with us
Hello.
as we are back to discuss another true crime mystery. Whether it be, whatever. We have a lot of different topics on the slate. And today, Beansy, we are talking about something that you and I have watched growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that's going to be a new documentary in 2023, a new documentary series, and an actual documentary itself. We are talking about the quote-unquote Glee Curse. Whether this cast is cursed or not.
Yes, we are.
And it also coincides with our Is This Real Season 2, which is...
Curses.
We're talking about curses.
Right.
But... like I said, this is more true crime stuff because, we have the Mark Salling case. We know what happens with Mark Salling.
Mm-hmm.
Naya Rivera and her unfortunate death. And, of course, the three big ones were Mark Salling, Naya Rivera, and Corey Monteith. Whoa.
Continue.
I'll just cut that out. And Corey Monteith. Well, the three biggest ones.
The three biggest deaths
were Corey Monteith,
Mark Salling, and Naya Rivera, and we'll break down each of them.
But little known facts for everybody else. There's also other tragedies and shit that have happened to the
tragedies, controversies, deaths, so on and so forth.
To the cast of Glee and the people who were involved in the show itself.
Well, I think to kickstart the episode, I'll give a little rundown of I love Glee. It's unfortunately, I say that now as a 22, almost 23-year-old who knows a lot better and understands how a show should be. Unfortunately, Glee is my favorite show of all time. It comes before Friends. It comes before The Office. It comes before The Sopranos. It comes before every other TV show I've ever watched. I started watching Glee when I was 12 years old, so that, as of 2023, that will make me an 11-year-old Glee fan. And I started watching Glee when season 3 was over, so, like I said, 2012, and I picked it up from there. I've seen every episode. We've seen every episode probably more than 50 times.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not a great show, but it has always brought me back to being a child, and the love I have for those characters and the love I have for certain actors on that show is abundant. So yeah, that's my little history with Glee. I'm a huge Gleek, and that's so corny to say, but it is what it is. It's who I am. And it's partly the reason why I'm such a theater nerd, because of Glee and Joey and Tony. But yeah, so what should we start with? Should we start with the first death, or do you have questions for me?
I would definitely start with Corey Monteith's death, because I think that's what really, to me, kicked everything like everyone in the back of the head, because nobody saw it coming.
So, July 13th, 2013.
She knows it like the back of her dick.
Yep, July 13th, 2013. We were on vacation down the shore.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just woken up, and Tony was calling me. He was calling me off the hook. So I answered the phone, and I'm like, Anthony, what's going on? Why are you calling me? And he tells me, I don't know if you saw the news, but Corey Monteith died. When I say I feel like I lost a member of my family, and I know a lot of people say like, oh, you don't know these celebrities, so you shouldn't really feel close to them. I loved Corey Monteith. He was such a kind soul. I mean, at least what we saw on our side. I don't know truly who he was, but what we saw on our side, he was such a kind soul. He was so nice. But, with his death came questions like, how did he die? Why did he die?
Well, let me go through that now. We'll tell the day up. So, on July 13th, 2013, Monteith was found dead in his room at the Fairmont Pacific Rim Hotel in Vancouver. He was 31 years old. Monteith was scheduled to check out that day following a 7-night stay, but when he failed to do so, hotel staff entered his room around noon and found his body. The Vancouver Police Department stated that the cause of death was not immediately apparent, but ruled out foul play. An autopsy was completed by British Columbia Coroner's Service on July 15th. The preliminary autopsy report stated that Monteith died from a mixed drug toxicity consisting of heroin and alcohol, and his death appeared to have been accidental. The final report released by the British Columbia Coroner Service on October 2nd, 2013 confirmed these findings. It noted that Monteith had also had codeine and morphine in his system at the time of his death, and that he was found with drug paraphernalia that included a spoon with drug residue and a used hypodermic needle, as well as 2 empty bottles of champagne. The coroner wrote that Monteith had experienced intermittent periods of drug abuse and abstinence throughout his life, and that after a period of cessation from opioid drug use, a previously tolerated drug concentration level may be toxic and fatal. His stay in rehab only lasted months before his death, and his attempt to stay off drugs resulted in his lowered tolerance to the drug.
Yeah, so he was a drug addict,
Yes.
basically. He was a drug addict who also dabbled in alcoholism. And he was a drug abuser since being a preteen, very early in life.
Yeah, he had a bad upbringing.
So that was the first blow, was Corey Monteith. Big blow. And that
years go by.
shook me to my fucking core because Joey can attest, I was in love. I was absolutely enamored with Finn Hudson. I would only watch specific episodes to look at him. I was obsessed with him. So him dying was a huge, for my 13-year-old brain, it was a huge traumatic event. And they were in the middle of production between season 4 and season 5 of Glee. So his last episode on Glee was the end of season 4. They had filmed the first 2 episodes of season 5, which were the Beatle episodes. But he had passed away, during the production of those 2 episodes. So the 3rd episode of season 5 is titled The Quarterback, and it is in dedication of Corey Monteith. So, the show went on to 7 seasons? 6 seasons. 6 seasons. And there were a few nods to Corey or Finn throughout the rest of the series by Rachel, by the rest of the cast. But it was like, those things on TikTok where it's like, this event altered my brain chemistry? That altered my brain chemistry. I think it was the first time where I had been infatuated with a celebrity that had died. And it was like the very first time that it ever happened to me. So it was very off-putting. And I know that sounds like I said, it sounds really fucked up. And people are like, oh, you don't know the celebrities, you can't be hurt by it. But that hurt me. I cried. I was on the floor watching The Quarterback live with my family surrounding me. I was sobbing on the floor on my knees in front of the TV.
I remember that.
It was traumatizing. And then a year goes by and Lea Michele releases her Louder album. And on her Louder album, there's a song called If You Say So. And If You Say So is a song that is dedicated to Corey Monteith because she would always tell him, I love you more. And he would say, if you say so. And I could just listen to it now, and I could just. It still hurts me every year. I post something in his memory. It bothers me because he was just such a good soul, and he was honest and open about the addiction. He spoke to Ellen. He said it in interviews. Like, he wasn't private about it at all. It was very traumatizing. But then that leads us down the rabbit hole of Mark Salling. So, Joe, you want to take over Mark Salling?
Yes, death number 2 for Glee and the Glee Curse. Mark Salling is, he had a lot of legal issues.
He played Noah Puckerman.
Puckerman.
Ooh, fuck. Puckerman on Glee.
Puckerman, yes. His legal issues. He in January 2013, Sailing's ex-girlfriend Roxanne Gorzella accused him of committing sexual battery on March 25th, 2011, by having unprotected sex without knowledge that it was unprotected. He denied the charges and filed a countersuit for defamation of character. In March 2015, Sailing settled with Gorzella out of court and agreed to pay her $2.7 million. That brings us to December 29th, 2015.
My 16th birthday.
Yes. Sailing was arrested at his Los Angeles home on suspicion of possessing several thousand photos and videos depicting child pornography, following a tip-off to the police from one of his ex-girlfriends. He was released later on $20,000 bail, but a search warrant found more than 50,000 images of child pornography downloaded between April and December 2015 on his computer and USB flash drives. On May 27, 2016, he was charged with receiving and possessing child pornography. As a result of the charges, Sailing was removed from the cast of Adi Shankar's Gods and Secrets. I never saw that film.
I don't think it actually.
On September 30th, 2017, he pleaded guilty to possession of child pornography, which was expected to result in Sailing being sentenced to 4 to 7 years in jail, in addition to registering as a sex offender and entering treatment program, among other conditions. The guilty plea was formalized on December 18, 2017, and Sailing's sentencing date was set for March 7th, 2018. Which leads us to Sailing hung himself on January 30th, 2018, near his home in Sunland area of Los Angeles. His body was found 6 hours after being reported missing. The manner of his death was confirmed by the Los Angeles coroner's office, and death ruled by suicide.
So we can come to the conclusion, all agree that he took the pussy way out.
Yes,
He was a giant pussy.
He hung himself because of his legal issues and him going to jail, so he decided to say fuck it. And
so that death...
there's one less child predator on the fucking earth.
Yeah. That death didn't bother me as much. Okay. It's not that I wasn't a Puckerman fan. It's just I didn't prefer Puckerman. And after...
Fuck you. I preferred Puckerman.
I didn't really... he was funny, but that was about it. But after learning his...
it made sense.
You know, his affixi... whatever the hell that word is, with child pornography,
What?
I don't want to say it. I chose not to really care about it. Like, we knew, obviously the world knew about his arrests in 2013 and 2015, and then the end of 2015 came along and it was the child pornography. But after learning about what he had done, I was just like, fuck that guy then. Like, he deserves what he gets. And he took the pussy way out, which determines that, he was guilty. You don't kill yourself if you're not guilty, and he pled guilty.
Well, he pled guilty, so he knew.
So he knew what he was facing, and he didn't want to face it, so he decided to take himself out, and so be it. That may sound cold, but at the same time, like, look what he did. Like, there's no excuse for it. But this leads us to Naya Rivera, which I am going to discuss. Just bear with me one moment.
Let me read. I have it up. I have it up. I'm gonna read. On July 8th, 2020, Rivera was declared a missing person after her 4-year-old son, Josie, was found alone on Rivera's rented boat at Lake Piru, a reservoir in the Los Padres National Forest in Ventura, California. Rivera had been visiting the lake for years and was considered a strong swimmer. The search for both Rivera and Josie had begun at 4 p.m., 3 hours after they left dock, when their rental was over and they had not returned. Josie was found alone, asleep on the boat with his life jacket on around 5 p.m. Josie told investigators that he and Rivera were swimming when she told him to get back in the boat. Police reports stated that he recalled that she helped him climb back into the boat, but was unable to climb back on board herself and then disappeared underwater. While Ryan Dorsey's lawsuit claims that Josie Dorsey climbed aboard unaided while his mother struggled to do the same. Both accounts stated that he watched his mother reaching up and calling out for help. He searched for a rope on the boat to help while she was struggling. He also stated that his mother was not wearing a life jacket. The next day, the Ventura County Sheriff's Officer confirmed to NBC that Rivera was presumed dead and that rescue efforts would shift to recovery efforts. On July 11th and 12th, Rivera's parents and stepfather, brother, ex-husband Ryan Dorsey, and close friend and co-star Heather Morris joined the search team at the lake. And the sheriff's office dissuaded more civilians from trying to search because of dangerous terrain. On July 13th, it was announced that a body had been found by divers in Lake Piru when the search resumed in the morning. The body was confirmed to be Rivera's at a press conference held later that day. The sheriff suggested that Rivera and Josie may have found themselves caught in a rip current and struggled to get back in the boat, saying that she likely mustered enough energy to save her son, but not enough to save herself. On July 14th, the Ventura County Medical Examiner released an autopsy report stating that the cause of death was an accidental drowning and there was no evidence of injury or intoxication. Rivera was interred at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, a cemetery known for its many entertainment industry burials, following a private service on July 24th, 2020. So she drowned saving her kid.
It still bothers me.
That's what happened to Naya Rivera, unfortunately. She drowned saving her kid.
2 years later, and it still bothers me.
Well, Corey Monteith's death still bothers you now, and that was, almost 10 years later now. It's got to be 10 years next year.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing about Naya Rivera's death, that
still fucks me up.
It fucks me up, but what bothers me about it is that she was found on the day Corey Monteith died. Not the same day, 7 years later, but on July 13th. Like, she was found on July 13th, 7 years after one of her very good friends had passed away. So that, I don't know what it is. It just sends a shiver down my spine. And
oh yeah, Monteith's death fucked her up too.
But it's one of those things that it's like a 1 in a million chance of it happening. You already have 2 deaths within the same cast, and
3.
then this. I'm talking about before she passed away.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry.
You already have 2 people who died. One by a accidental overdose, another by a suicide, and then the third is like a drowning. Like, not saying nobody drowns, but to me, I just can't fully wrap my mind around it because it just doesn't come off to me like normal. I go, she drowned. Like, that's what makes me feel like there's something deeper to this. That's what leads us down to this conspiracy theory of them being cursed, because it just feels so planned. I don't know if that makes sense.
I don't think it's planned.
But it just feels so like in the cards.
Like we discussed it on the one episode we did for and this past episode that we talked about the Tippecanoe curse. If it's a curse, it has to be something to me. Like there was 3 assassinations in that, and there was a heart attack, and this, that, and a third. It to me, if it's a curse, it has to be something more than just like it has to be accidental shit, and this falls under that. Like, she accidentally drowned, he overdosed accidentally. Sailing was a pedophile. No, not a pedophile. I can't call him a pedophile. He never touched any kids. He just had kid pornography.
Mm-hmm.
So he got caught for that. So, and then he hung himself. So he, that's 3 people off the board, and in such different ways, giving off so many different emotions for them. Like, Corey was the first, so everyone wasn't expecting it. And I'm not saying everybody was expecting Naya Rivera. It's like nobody at all expected Naya Rivera.
No.
It was, and in the way she died too, was so opposite of Corey Monteith. Like, regardless of yeah, it's he died from a drug overdose, that he had a problem that that shit happens to celebrities all the time, and just regular people. She died saving her kid.
She died a hero.
Yeah, she died a hero's death. Sailing died a pussy death.
Mm-hmm.
And
So we have a sad death, a pussy death, and a hero's death.
yeah. And again,
It's
they
like the
all
perfect
give
trifecta.
they all give different emotions for those different deaths. Like, people were pissed off at Sailing. Like, we're sitting here like, yeah, the man is dead, and he plays in one of our favorite TV shows of all time, but we're like, fuck him.
Yeah. Like, fuck that guy.
Corey Monteith died, and it still hurts a lot of people to this day. To where, like, holy shit, like, the man was taken off the planet out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And Naya, it hurts everyone, because you're sitting there like, she was saving her kid, like any parent would do that.
Yeah.
And that's what fucks everybody up for that. And see, this is something, doing our little research that we did. We were like, oh, let's just, there's a new documentary coming out, and we'll, talk about the Glee deaths. Like, this was just a spur of the moment thing. Me and Teresa was like, well, let's talk about the Glee deaths. Okay, cool. And then doing a little bit of research, you're like, oh, there was more than 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
there's other shit that classifies it a curse.
We have additionally, obviously Naya Rivera, Corey Monteith, and Mark Salling, but we also have Nancy Moats, who committed suicide in a bathtub. She was a production assistant on the show. And Jim Fuller, who was I just had it up, actually. Jim Fuller, who was I believe a assistant director. So you have 2 people who were on the crew to develop the show, or to assist in the development of the show. But not only that, you also have Becca Tobin's boyfriend, Matt Bendick, who was found dead.
And Becca Tobin is...
Becca Tobin played Kitty Wilde in
Yes.
season 4, 5, and 6. I believe I don't know if she came back for season 6. I don't remember.
Yes, she did.
But her boyfriend was found dead in a hotel room on July 10th, 2014. So just 3 days shy of the 1-year marking for Corey Monteith's death. And there were no evidence of drugs or drug paraphernalia in the room. He just died. That was it. He just died one
What
day.
did the coroner say?
They didn't do anything on that because he's not a celebrity.
Yeah, but you still have to have a coroner.
I don't know. It doesn't say it here.
Because you're looking at one little paragraph. Search something up, my Jesus Christ. Do some research.
I'm sure if it was an important death, they would have added it here.
Do some research.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
My God.
Oh, fuck off, Joey.
What?
Why did I say that? Inside his Vancouver hotel room after a lethal heroin overdose.
Thank you.
Weird. Anyway. So he died of a drug overdose. And then Jesse Luken, who played Bobby Boom Boom Surrett
I have
in
no idea
season
who the fuck
4.
that is. Oh, I know who
I
that
think he
is.
played the hockey player. No, that was Rick the Stick Nelson. Bobby Boom Boom Surrett. I don't remember that.
I don't
guy.
remember Bobby Boom Boom Surrett.
No, neither do I. Oh,
The
okay.
dick in season 4.
Yes, the asshole.
The guy who played opposite Cookie.
Yes. Okay, so he had a car crash. He was arrested and charged with a DUI in March 2019. So it's not significant. He didn't die, but it's still something. But then that leads us down the rabbit hole of Leah Michelle's drama, being accused of systemic racism, and she can't read.
So why was she accused of systemic racism?
So in 20,
Which
in
I don't
June,
know how a person.
Listen.
Wait, no, hold on. I don't know how a person can be accused of systemic racism when systemic means it's
Can
a
you
system.
just shut the fuck up for a
It's
minute?
someone's being accused of,
In
of
early
being a
June
racist.
2020, in early June 2020, we had a lot of the protests and marchings, BLM, things like that.
Yeah, all that bullshit.
And Samantha Marie Ware, who played the she played in season 6. She was one of the additional cast members that they brought on.
Yeah.
She
The cast members
phenomenal.
who people don't remember at all.
I remember them. She was a
you
phenomenal.
don't.
Yes, I do.
What are their names?
I don't remember their names, but I remember them on the show.
Yeah, of course everybody remembers on the show, but they're not important like they're like the original Glee cast.
But they were on the show, and I remember them, so you can't tell me I don't. Anyway.
But you don't remember the names.
She called out Lea Michele for making her life a living hell while working with her on the series. Because Lea Michele had tweeted out her support for Black Lives Matter. So she had quote tweeted Lea Michele and basically said, "This is so funny given the fact that, you know, from day one on me being on Glee, you made my life a nightmare and said, quote, you were going to shit in my wig." So
how was that racist?
She retweeted Michelle's comment on George Floyd's death and accused Michelle of traumatic microaggressions that made me question a career in Hollywood. She opened up about her relationship with Michelle on the show, and she said, "I knew from day one when I attempted to introduce myself, there was nothing gradual about it. As soon as she decided she didn't like me, it was very evident. It was after I did my first performance, that's when it started. The silent treatment, the stare downs, the looks, the comments under her breath, the weird passive aggressiveness. It all built up." Michelle later apologized, saying that her personal memories of events did not matter, but what did was that she clearly acted in ways which hurt other people. Michelle added, "One of the most important lessons of the last few weeks is that we need to make time to listen and learn about other people's perspectives, and any role we have played or anything we can do to help address the injustices that they face." Samantha Ware did not feel like the apology was genuine and said that all it did was affirm that she hadn't learned anything. She said, "Am I calling Lea a racist? No. Does Lea Michele have racist tendencies? I think Lea suffers from a symptom of living in this world in the industry that tailored to white people."
So that basically she's saying that she has no proof that Lea Michele was being a racist, but because Lea Michele is a white actress, she believes that it's tailored towards her because she hasn't gotten anywhere in her career.
If that's what your interpretation of that is, then sure.
No, but that's...
If that's what your interpretation of what she said is, then sure. But that also leads us to Lea Michele can't read.
How did that start?
Because it started on TikTok, mainly. But if you really look at it, it does make sense. A lot of the times, she's not reading her own scripts. It's being read to her. A lot of times she's listening to the music that she's singing instead of actually reading, the music that's written in front of her. But it all stems from her being a diva. She has a huge reputation in Hollywood for being a diva. And
well, she's been in the industry since she was fucking 4.
But she has a huge reputation for being a diva on sets. Nobody likes working with her. And like most divas or people who think that, it's just like they perceive it in the movies. Like you're a diva, you're someone who doesn't want to do anything themselves. Your lines are read to you. Yeah. People cater to you. People do things for you. So that's kind of how it started. But there were other things that people are saying, like if you gave her a book or like she's in an interview and you gave her something, she's like not looking at it or she's like not reading off of it. I believe in like 2013, maybe 2013, the Glee cast, including Lea Michele, were on the Ellen show, I think it was, and they were doing Cards Against Humanity, but like PG. Mm-hmm. And she was having like a really hard time like coming up with something. It was like jumbo card, you had to write your own thing on it. And she was having a really hard time with it, but she's addressed it. She's addressed the rumors that she can't read. Like, it's all over her TikTok.
Did she, like, have a spelling bee on her TikTok?
No, but she has TikToks, like, making fun of it. She thinks it's, like, comedy, but there are a lot of people out there who do believe that she is illiterate.
My question for that is, why does anybody care if she's illiterate or not?
I don't know, Joey.
Like, to me, it's like, why do people love Lea Michele? I'll just put it like this.
Because she has a phenomenal voice.
And she brings joy to people who listen to her, right? For
sure.
those people who listen to her. So what does it matter if she can read or not? That's my whole thing. Like, who gives a shit? People make such a big deal out of stupid little shit like this. Oh, she can't read. Big fucking deal. It doesn't matter. I can barely read.
So yeah, that's essentially what's surrounding. I hate when you do that shit.
What?
Who cares? Who gives a shit? It's part of the controversy. We're talking about it.
Her not reading is a big controversy to you?
For a lot of people, it is.
Why?
Because people give a shit, Joey. Why do people care about... why do people care about what the Royals are doing or what shoes this person wore one day? Because people care. What's important to you is may not be important to others and vice versa. And you can't judge people for that.
No, but my thing about think about this. We're in a time now where people get canceled for bullying, for people, basically like, oh, leave them alone. They're them, Lady Gaga, you're born this way. You know what I mean? People are who they are. So if Lea Michele can't read, why is it a big fucking deal to people? Let her not fucking read. It doesn't fucking matter. You know why it's a big deal? It's because she was called out for being a racist.
That was 2 years ago.
Quote unquote being a racist. No proof of it. That's why people give it a big deal. Because she is in the bad, like, don't get me wrong. The posts and stuff that she put up, it pissed me off too. I'm like, lady, I don't give a fuck what you do.
Again, what's important to you or not important to you may be not important or important to another person.
Is it important to you that she can read or not?
I think it's funny.
Well, besides, is it important?
I mean, I don't lose sleep over it. I think it's funny.
Why do you
Because
think
it's
funny?
like... Because she's 33 years old. If the bitch can't read, then, like, she was spoon-fed everything in her life, which makes sense because that's what she grew up in. But she started her career... An internet conspiracy theory that about Lea Michele being illiterate blew up after Jay Hunt and Robert Ackerman from the podcast One More Thing posted a 45-minute Facebook live stream with evidence that Michele can't read or write. The theory is far-fetched as Michele is 33 with an expressive... blah, blah, blah. In the live stream, Hunt and Ackerman say their theory was sparked from Michele's comments about former Glee castmate Naya Rivera's book. In her book, Naya Rivera mentioned an incident in which Michele refused to improvise with a guest star in an episode of Glee. Michele declined to comment on her feelings on the issue, only responding with "read a book." This led the duo to question Michelle's literacy as they wondered if she can't read the book herself. Further investigation provided them with more evidence to back up their claims. Their sources of justification come from videos of Lea Michele in which she looks like she's posing with her signature already written. There are almost no photographs and videos of her actually writing her name at book signings. There are also a few clips of her presenting at award shows in which she echoes whoever she's presenting with, making it seem like she can't read the names. The pair also cites Michelle's Instagram captions, which use mostly emojis instead of real words. They speculated that Glee producer Ryan Murphy taught Michele her lines because she couldn't read them. A big part of the theory of why Michele would be illiterate is because she missed out on school as a child due to her early success. Michele made her Broadway debut at the age of 8 as Little Cosette in Les Mis, and later to perform on Ragtime, Fiddler on the Roof, and Spring Awakening. So they're theorizing that she doesn't know how to read or write because she never went to a formal 12-year school, which can be disproven because when you are in the show business as a young child, you do have to attend a certain amount of proper schooling in order to, get the okay, you can be a person. So
none of this is true crime.
It's not true crime, but getting
we went
back
down
to the direct
rabbit hole and with the Glee.
Right. When it comes down to the conspiracy theories and the three big highlights of this controversy or just in general, Corey Monteith died a death that unfortunately many Hollywood celebrities die of. It was unfortunate, and what I have always appreciated, not necessarily appreciated, but Corey Monteith was always open. Corey Monteith was open about his addiction and his battle, and it was never something that he denied or acted like it didn't exist, which I always not appreciated, but I respected. Because like I said, too many
battling demons,
Right, too many people battle demons and act like it doesn't happen, and they try and be picture perfect, when in reality, like, everyone battles demons, and he seemed like an individual who was happy with leveling and not acting fake. Then you have Mark Salling's death, who he died a pussy death. He didn't want to face He didn't want to face his
demons.
His demons. He wanted to run away from them.
Yeah.
So instead, he did himself in, and fuck him. That's what I can say about him. And then Naya Rivera is just gut wrenching because it was out of the blue. It was unexpected, and she died a hero's death.
She didn't die because of any of the demons.
Right. She didn't have, like, obviously everyone has demons, but she didn't die because of her demons. She wasn't running away from anything. She didn't seem to have any issues in her life. Yes, she had, an issue with her marriage and with Ryan Dorsey and this, that, and the third, but that had been over by the time she had passed away. So I think Naya Rivera's one hurt because her son was in the boat on the lake by himself for however long.
3 hours.
For however long.
It said 3 hours.
And that is what hurts my
here?
soul because he's much older, but
he's 2 years older.
It's still gut wrenching with Naya Rivera. It still feels fresh. Watching Glee doesn't feel right because I know she's not like on the planet. But every year, Kevin McHale and Jenna Ushkowitz, who's not in Ushkowitz anymore, she got married, but I don't know what her married last name is. She's a mama now. She has a baby. But anyway, Jenna Ushkowitz and Jenna Ushkowitz and Kevin McHale put on the annual Snicksmas, which is a benefit that is in Naya Rivera's honor because, as we all know, she was Auntie Snicks on Glee. What was her quote? Auntie Snicks in the Bitchtown Express or something like that. So yeah, there you have it.
So with all this, do you think it's a curse?
Yes.
Really? You think it's a curse?
I think it's too much shit to happen to one cast. It just does not make sense to me. It's too much stuff to... Oh, it is Bitchtown Express. I was right. It's too much stuff to happen to one cast. So I think honestly, I think maybe Lea Michele's a Satanist or something.
Why does it always have to lead back to Lea Michele?
Because Lea Michele has... But look at her life. She has everything handed to her on a fucking silver platter. She has a gorgeous voice. She's not ugly. She got her dream role. Come on. In Glee... Come on. Okay. All right. In Glee, for those who... If you're not watching this and you're not a fan... If you're watching this, you're a fan of Glee. So you already know this. I could hardly think of anybody who's going to buy this who's not a fan of Glee to listen to me rant.
It goes with it. It goes with the dollar.
Listen. Lea Michele in Glee. The entire show. Her idol was Barbra Streisand, the Babs, right? Barbra Streisand played Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl. And her dream, Rachel's dream, was to basically be follow in the footsteps of Barbra Streisand. On Broadway, be a famous, actress and theater performer. In season 5 of Glee, Lea Michele is Rachel Berry is cast as Fanny Bryce in a revival of Fanny Girl on Broadway. Funny Girl on Broadway.
Fanny Girl.
Which kickstarts her career. After that, Rachel goes into Hollywood and she gets her own TV show, and it's a whole other thing. But in season 5, she is cast as Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl in a revival on Broadway. Mm-hmm. Then, so that was 2014. Then, how many years later?
7, 8.
8 years later, she's cast as Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl, a revival of Funny Girl on Broadway. You cannot tell me, or if it's not Lea Michele, then it's Ryan Murphy. You cannot tell me that this wasn't written in the cards, or they went to a Crossroads demon or something, because it's too coincidental. I don't believe how this could just happen. We're living in a real life episode of Glee.
No, you're not. What it is this was a TV show that happened.
Very good.
This is how they played out their TV show and what happened to the character in the TV show. Lea Michele, who was a person on Broadway before the TV show, and can sing was cast in a revival that she fits perfectly in.
I disagree.
The
Am I disagreeing with the fact that she's a perfect Fanny
hold on,
Bryce?
Hold
No.
on, wait. The character of Rachel Berry was Leah Michele in real life.
Yes, I know.
So for that happening, for Leah Michele and Rachel Berry to both get the role of Fanny Bryce on Broadway with a show about a character wanting to go to Broadway, it makes sense.
It's too picture perfect for me, and it makes me uncomfortable, if I'm being honest.
Why?
Because it's like it doesn't compute in my brain, and it makes me how much time have we recorded?
We're at 40 minutes.
Oh. It just doesn't compute in my brain that this is just natural. I think there was external forces somehow in play here. But other than that, I think I don't know. Maybe she's trying to cut down the tree. Maybe she's trying to make it just Leah Michele stands above everybody. Kind of like that scene from Avengers when Tony Stark had the image of everybody dead on a pile and he was standing on top of them.
No.
Maybe that's what she wants.
Why would she want that?
Because she's probably psychotic.
You're making her sound like she's a Dementor.
Maybe she is.
No.
You know what's the worst thing about prison?
The Dementors.
The Dementors.
No, Jesus Christ.
All I'm saying is it's too perfect. Life does not happen that way naturally.
For regular people. Mm-mm. For celebrities, it does.
She's dabbling in the Church of Satan.
How do you know?
Because
where's your proof?
Because she's getting everything she wants. Nobody gets everything they want.
How do you know she wanted this?
Because she's fucking Leah Michele.
That doesn't make any sense.
She's Leah Michele, and she's been on fucking TV talking about how she's wanted to play Fanny Bryce, how this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And on top of that, if she was the best... Wait a minute, pause. If she was the best person to play Fanny Bryce on Broadway, why the fuck did they go with the person they went with originally? Why didn't they just go straight to Leah Michele?
Because Leah Michelle's probably not available at that time.
Oh, I'm sure she was not available at that time. Because you know what she was doing? She was worshiping Satan.
Of course. If she was worshiping Satan so much and she wanted that role so badly.
Why are you such a Leah Michele sympathizer?
I'm not, but I'm not a sympathizer. What I'm saying is there has to be some proof of what you're saying.
I am proving it.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with her and the fucking the racist comments, and it's her with the not reading. People are going after this chick regardless of what she may not do. Again, I don't like her. I think she's a snobby cunt. But that's just me. And it has nothing to base on whether she can read or not. But for you to sit here and
I just think you're a Leah Michele sympathizer.
For you to sit here and throw all these wet paper towels against the wall, hoping they're going to stick, like in the episode of Friends, and they're not sticking because there's nothing to stick it to the wall.
I just think it's too perfect. It just doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make me very comfortable. And I'm getting very uncomfortable talking about it. So let's find something else to talk about, please.
I'm not very comfortable.
I'm not very comfortable right now.
No,
fine.
So I don't know how this has to do with any true crime shit, but I'll be honest. The first part of it is, and once you start getting down the rabbit hole of the Glee shit and whether if it's a curse or not, I mean, the Mark Salling thing is true crime. The Naya Rivera, it's not really true crime. It's not really a crime. But the Mark Salling thing is very interesting.
He's a crime.
The whole body was a crime.
Throw the whole man away.
Fucking from his life to his death, it's all a crime.
Call the Vatican. We got ourselves another immaculate conception.
Because with him killing himself, that's a crime. You killed somebody yourself.
But anyway, that's our episode. Good night.
Wow.
You normally do the. You normally end the episode, so I don't know how to end the episode.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening to this not-so-true crime episode.
If you like beans, if you like me, I'm Beans. If you like me...
She's Beans.
I'm Beans. Buy the Patreon.
Anyhow, so
$1. I'll send you the dollar.
If they're hearing this, they're buying the Patreon.
Well, tell your friends. I will give you the $1.
That doesn't help us.
Yes, it is.
Anywho.
You're still getting... Anyway.
So just follow us on social media. Go listen to the Is This Real episodes themselves, and continue listening. Thank you, guys.
And if you are on the Patreon, let us know what you want to talk about next. Like, put it on, go to our TikTok or our Instagram, comment it, so we know that you're interacting and you're listening, and we'll talk about it. And we'll give you a shout out in a video, too.
Thank you, guys. We'll catch you next time.